Greetings, everyone. This is MDawg, and welcome to yet another beginning of a leveling guide, leveling series. I mean, really, let's be honest, we're just having fun playing RF4 here. But we are going to start fresh in a level 1 account. This is not the first time that I have started a leveling guide during the New Year's Fair. I think it's actually a fun way to go about leveling a new account. It makes it a little bit more interesting. Obviously it does perhaps change a few things. And I think that because we're over the holidays, people are out of school or off work, more of a chance that we might catch a few new players, and that's really who these guides are for, right? So I'm going to start playing through the tutorial. I'm not going to talk through the very basics of the game. I'm going to just sort of talk in some general terms while I am hopefully fairly mindlessly going through this tutorial experience. But let me just continue to talk about who is this leveling guide series for. And I don't know yet how long we'll go. Usually we make it to around Quarry Lake. It's usually about, but even that takes a long time to get there. So, we'll see if we actually do make it that far. But if you are new to the game, if you are, again, sort of pre-Quarry Lake in the game, still finding things out, or you have lots of questions, then hopefully a guide like this will be helpful to you. By the way, this is a horrible way to try to catch a fish, only because we're getting those tips at the top of the screen. Were we able to do this? The depth is set too deep for how close we cast it. So let's get it a little farther out there this time. There we go. So now I'm going to do two things. One, if you have questions, comments, if you want to kind of hang out with me in real time and interact with me, then the best place to do that is over at Twitch. You are welcome to ask me questions here on YouTube down in the chat, and I will try to respond as best I can. Just remember though, sometimes I record these videos of the different episodes way before it's released on YouTube. I say way before. Usually it's within a few days, but still, you're not always interacting with me in real time like you would be on stream. So if you do want to interact in real time, please feel free to come on over to Twitch when I'm streaming live. I'll try to remember to post that link here in the description, but it's MDawg Gaming, MDawg, and then obviously gaming, Gaming. And you're welcome to come join us there anytime you like. So the other, I guess, for what it's worth, the other group of people that this might be fun for is if you are a veteran of the game and you, like me, just enjoy watching RF4 content or thinking about leveling new accounts, or watching a new account try to play through the New Year's challenges, which is part of what sort of drew me to this experience, this idea. We have completed the tutorial, which is always nice. So maybe this is fun for you to come kind of hang out with me. Welcome MDawg 2024. By the way, we are at the very end of 2023. I mean, we are literally a couple of days away, 3-4 days away. No, 5 days away. I don't know. It's 4 days away, whatever, from the New Year's. So we're technically starting this 2023, but most of this series will be in 2024. And obviously we are going through the new player experience as we speak. Okay, so I'm going to try to put a link to two things, if I can remember. One, to my Twitch page, in case you do want to come join or give me a follow and then join us sometime when we're live over there. Second of all, I'm going to put a link to a resource, because if you are a new player, one of the things that is going to come up is, where are the hot spots? Where should I be fishing? And, you know, through this series, I may show you some spots that you want to try, but you need to know in this game that fish are migrating. Their bait preferences are changing. So there's different spots based on the weather conditions and just based on sort of natural changes that happen, you know, that are programmed to happen randomly in the game. So the resource I'm going to put in there is actually one of the people who hang out and chat with us quite often, whose in-game name is It's Blunty, also runs this spreadsheet. And through his spreadsheet, you can also get a link to Kilted Jock's spreadsheet. Kilted Jock has had his spreadsheet for years now, but both of these are great resources. One of the things I like about It's Blunty is that his spreadsheet is you can actually link straight to VK, which is a social media site that I think is used in Russia, where this game originates, or at least that part of the world. And he will link you based on what body of water you want to see the hotspots. But, you know, that's just one of the options of places to find hotspots. Other places to look would be in people's Discord. If you come join us on Twitch, you can jump in our Discord. A lot of people do put hotspots there as well. Okay, it's 7 in the morning. One thing I want to do for this series is kind of focus on these New Year's challenges, to sort of, you know, as if we are a brand new account, but as if we were a new player trying to figure out how to navigate these New Year's challenges. So we're going to try to go kind of stage at a time. As we get into it, we'll probably jump around some, but this could impact the order in which we purchase gear, right? So the general philosophy I use on a new account, and would encourage other people to use, unless you sort of already know that you enjoy a different type of fishing better, the general philosophy I have is get some basic feeder rods set up as soon as possible. But I want to sort of check that with the early stages that we have to do here in this New Year's challenge. And so it might be slightly different in this case. So I just wanted to make that comment, and we'll look at gear and stuff as we go. There's other things that we want to prioritize early on, and we'll try to get to those things as well. But okay, so we need to catch crucian or gibble weighing at least 1 kilo. Notice that it doesn't say how we have to catch it. So it can be on float or bottom, technically on spin, although that would be very challenging. Then we have to catch a common roach weighing at least 700 grams, and then catch 7 species of fish on mosquito using float. So with that one, obviously, we won't just do that one, because we will naturally do that while we're working on other ones. So for stage 1, we want to focus on crucian and gibble and roach, right? And we have very limited bait choices. This is why this is going to be very difficult at times, or more difficult for a brand new account, for a new player, which is the whole motivation for doing this, to see, you know, how it goes. Now, some of people that, you know, I had shared with my stream that we were going to start working on this new series, they were asking like, okay, well, are you going to also do the premium? So if you click on this top one, this is the free to play. In other words, even if you don't have premium, you can do this one. You have to have premium active, premium subscription, to do this one. Now, I can already tell you, I think some of these challenges as a new account, as a low-level player, as a new player, would be ridiculously hard. So I really don't know how many or if we'll work on these. For now, the focus is going to be how many of these can we finish. And I don't even know the answer to that. But we're going to give it a go. So for right now, let's just focus on these top 2 of stage 1. We'll start bouncing around from there. Since we don't have to have just float for that, I do think we go ahead and get our first feeder set up. If we can afford to, let's do that. Let's look at our inventory really quick. So I'm gonna hit I and bring up our inventory. We have 1 float rod with a 16 hook and worms. We have a spin rod, which, don't forget, this spin rod, once we get to Belaya, you can do decent even with this starter spin rod. and the free one, right? Maybe I'm actually thinking of the free one. No, I think this is the one. But the free one you get from the administration building, which we can grab that real quick. I forget how many worms you start off with. Let's wait, where is the administration building here? Is it over on the other side? I can't remember. Hardware store. Oh, we start with a map. That's good. Free food here once a day, which is 1 hour in real life or 24 hours in game. You can get free food here, so we'll keep that in mind. All right, let's look and see. We start with 50 silver. So I don't think we can... that's not bad. If it saves us money, I actually might get the float fishing kit. We'll do some math later. What I'm wanting to do though is get some feeder fishing kits going, which for me, I actually do like getting these very basic ones, even the very cheapest. Now, the other way you could go is you could go straight into float fishing at Winding and earn some pretty good silver that way, and maybe skip these starter feeders. I don't know. I like having them. I just like having feeders going as quickly as possible. So 37, we'll go ahead and get this one. Next we need, what are we gonna need? We need a sinker. I think 30 gram is fine. We need, oh, the reel, obviously. And it's only a silver more. I think it's worth getting the slightly bigger spool size, right? I think it is for a silver more. So now we're down to 1.2 silver. And let's look at this. All right, so our feeder is going to be here. So by the way, let me show you what I'm doing here. I'm holding down U, and then I'm dragging this so that the numbers then represent. So we pull out, by hitting 1, we can pull out what's in that slot. Now, do we already have line? We don't. This is where if we find the administration building, we could get free line. Or we could pull the line off of the spinner setup that we have. But let's find the admin building. Here it is. Okay, so you can hit Y and get free spare float tackle, or G to get spare spinning tackle. I guess this is if you really made some poor decisions right when you started the game. You always have free gear available once every 24 hours in game. So we'll get the free spinning tackle because it's actually pretty decent, except that it's all broken down. If this reel was repaired, which it's pretty expensive to repair, but if it was repaired, it'd be awesome. All right, so now we can get this out. We can put the line on there. We don't have a bite indicator yet. We do have the sinker. We don't need a leader. We do need a hook. We'll put a 16 on there. And we do already have some bread broke. So we can actually put this out. It'd be nice to have a bite indicator. I'm not sure we can afford the bite indicator. I think even the cheapest one might be slightly more than that, but we'll see. So even though we haven't fished yet, we're actually very close. Yeah, 2.9 silver, but we can fish with it. We just won't be able to see the bite indicator. Okay, so I'm going to use some guides here as we're going, and these are just like both notes I've taken as well as guides that people have made. Again, Blunty's spreadsheet that I'm putting the link to. If I don't remember, remind me. That will have its own tab with suggestions on where to do all this. I'm following a slightly different guide this time. Okay, so we want to use bread, but the spot is what's important. All right, we're going to start at 5080, which is going to be, wait, 5080, is that what I said? I think that's on around, right? Sorry, I probably should have checked where it was. Yeah, let me just check where it is first before we go running all over. 5080 might be the other way. It is. Oh, that's cool. Okay, I actually haven't fished in this spot recently, so this will be fun to check. All right, we're gonna go 50, 80, and the only thing about this one guide that I'm using, it doesn't show the clip. Most guides do show the clip, but anyway, we'll just figure it out. This is gonna be a short clip, so it's probably like an 8 or something. All right, so you can already see where I think I'm still right, or did I pass it? Wait, where are we right now? Oh, I passed it. I believe it is going to be right up in this little nook here. Let's just see how good the fishing is here. All right, 50, 80, and we really want to be like pretty much we're going to aim at camp. So kind of like right out here. Again, I don't have a clip. Let's just assume it's... So I'm holding control and then plus or minus. So I'm just going to assume it's 9. Setting a clip will make sure that it doesn't go past that. So it will stop right there, okay? Now, the other thing we have is our float rod. I guess we can start with worms. Let's set it at 1 meter depth. That's good. And we just need to catch a couple fish here because we need to be able to get that bite indicator and maybe some ground bait. I mean, we just have some basic things we need to get. So anyway, here we go, getting started. If this spot seems slow, we'll try some other spots. I mean, kind of like, you know, ideally we are wanting to start working towards the New Year's challenge, but frankly, until we can afford a little bit bigger hook, and I mean, we're not likely to hit this stuff right now. I think in the beginning, we're just going to have to, you know, sort of grind out some experience and some silver. Silver is the big thing. By the way, I don't think I've said this, although it is definitely the case that I'm planning on doing this. There will be times while I'm doing this leveling guide that on my other computer, I may have my main account, especially here early on, because there are some just real grindy premium challenges, right? So like I haven't yet caught on my main account the eel at Old Berg, black carp at Old Berg. I haven't done any of the Cory ones yet. So I start to see we're getting a bite here. So I may kind of have that going on the side. I do have the capability of bringing that as a second window up. So if something exciting is happening over there, then I can kind of show you what's going on. All right, so if you notice, well, let me watch for this bite first, and then I'll kind of talk through how I set up that feeder rod. I should have talked through it as I was buying stuff out of the store, but I've done so many of these leveling guides. I feel like the more I do them, the less I remember to be very sort of slow and intentional in the beginning. Okay, so this did 2 tasks. 7 fish using float on mosquito, and then 15 species on mosquito. So we at least made progress towards a task, and we caught our first fish. We got a little bit of experience. So far, it does not look like there is a fish on our feeder line. Okay, so we bought the feeder rod, and it has a load capacity of 4.6. We put a reel on there that's got the load max drag of 3.2, but then our line is actually the smallest or the weakest link because it's only got a load capacity of 2.2. And in a general sense, this is what you want. If you're new to the game and you don't want to start breaking your gear and really putting yourself at a disadvantage, you want to have your line or your leader, which we're not even using a leader, be the weakest link. And then next your reel, and the strongest part of your rig is your rod. And that should always protect you from breaking anything. So that's really important. I really think, so one thing I No, I think this order was fine, but I think the next thing we need to purchase is another float tackle, because that's the cheapest thing that we can get so that we can start catching fish a little bit more frequently. We need to build up our ability to get this engine going. I messed that bite up. So it had kind of had a gentle, you saw it moving to the left, or our left a little bit, just gently. I thought that it might have been on, but apparently that was just a nibble, like they tried to teach us in the tutorial. There's a difference between the nibble and the bite, and you have to wait. I'm trying to keep an eye on this. I'm kind of surprised we haven't caught a fish on this. This is making me want to switch spots, to be frank, but it's surprising me that we haven't caught a fish on our feeder yet. I know we're very basic here on what we're using, but it does sort of surprise me. All right, again, I'm going to say that's probably still just a nibble. Okay, it's close. I don't know. That might have been a bite. One thing I talked about that we could do is we go to our spinning setup. This is 3.1 line. Let's take that off. And let's go ahead and pull this in and switch the line out. So let's put the nicer line on there instead of that junky stuff. So we'll need to reset the clip. This time I'll put it at 10. Cast it straight out there. Let's see if we can catch something. Picked up the wrong one. I'm going to hit K to open it, and then tap Y to tighten it back up. I didn't like how that looked. All right, so far we have literally caught one fish, which is not okay. As much as I was wanting to start here on these tasks, I am more and more considering going to winding and catching some bleak and or dace or whatever else we can catch to try to earn some quick silver here at the beginning. That may just be the better way to go right now. We could also use our spin setup that way too, while we don't have another third rod. Something was nibbling here. Let's wait till we get this nibble. So, I mean, maybe we need to wait. Let's go check the cafe. I haven't talked about cafe. One of the most important things as a new player is filling cafe orders. I'm going to be just sort of dripping information to you. I mean, this is unfortunately for you, this is kind of my style where I ruined a bite there. Where I am impatient and I'm also long-winded. And instead of giving you all the information you need very quickly, I'm asking you to be entertained by this journey and slowly get the information as I think to tell you. So I'm looking up at this cafe here. There's a cafe on almost every map. Thanks, Bear. And I'm hitting E to go in, and I'm looking at what they have. So these cafe orders, normally I would say, oh, there's a ton that look really easy, but considering the gear we have and how the fishing is going right now, none of this looks very easy. I'm just trying to figure out how to get a small hook, how to afford a small hook. If it was nighttime, but we don't have a small hook, so even catching rough right now might be difficult. So really it's going to be catching roach, gibble, crucians. I mean, the silver does add up. Let's see if we have a bite really quick on our float or our feeder, and then let's go check the store to see if they even have a small hook in stock. All right, nothing is on that. And nothing is on that. I just don't feel great about this spot right now. Now, again, I can't tell, is it the spot or is it our lack of gear and, skills and good equipment and all that stuff. I'm not sure which it is, but I'm trying not to mess this bite up. I'm trying to wait on the bite. All right, so that's a bream spot. I'm just kind of looking around at what's going on. All right, 53.87, 6 clip. I mean, I feel like that might be a better option for us. At least we know the clip for sure. 5387 is a little more familiar spot. All right. Oh, there's a fish on there. That's so weird. Little crucian. All right, notice we're getting skill points, float fishing. All right, so we've now caught 2 fish total on Mosquito and 2 fish by float. So if I use the mouse wheel, that changes the friction brake on the rod. All right, so we're gonna go try 5387. Again, we're just trying to generate some revenue somehow. $53.87 is right. It's off the boat. I got you. Okay. Okay, so I've got it on a 6 clip. I'm actually going to do bread on that as well. And let's try 85 centimeters. Should be deep enough for right here. Excuse me. All right. Let's go see how much a very small hook costs, if it's even in stock here, and what level you have to be to use it. All right, hooks, classic. 18 would be really cheap, but it's not in stock. So 14, but we already have that size. 20 would be okay. We could make some, we could do some good with 20. Now this one we have to be level 8, and that costs 8 silver, but that would be great. I mean, ultimately that's what we want, is at 24. But for now, we'll do this. We'll make 20 work. It's not ideal. We're not going to be able to kill the bleak like we normally would, but it's a start, I think. Ooh, that thing disappeared. Oh, I missed it. Let's make sure we don't have a fish on here. What are we using here? 16? I mean, that should be able to get some fish. Maybe we put the worm on the feeder instead. I'm not sure. All right, I need to be ready this time. All right, we got 16 hook here as well. We're using bread now. We've got to pull the fish up over this boat in front of us, which is going to be interesting. It's very slow going in the beginning here. Oh, I think we actually are catching something on the feeder as well. Very exciting. All right, there's a definite bite. We got it, we caught it. It's another crucian. We're to 0.6 on float fishing. And hey, one little fish at a time. I think there's a fish on here. Okay, so here we go. Nice and easy. Let's just pull it in. Yes, it's gonna be our biggest crucian, biggest fish yet. Woo, yeah, that's nice. Okay, we reached a new level, all kinds of personal records. And because we hit level 2, we got 30 caddisfly, and I'm so excited that they have this in the game now. For the longest time they didn't. But these presents are actually really cool. Caddisfly is a fun bait that, you know, we probably wouldn't have thought to try early on, but since they give it to you as a gift, you can try it, and that is great. All right, so we still have 1.2 silver, but the good news is we at least have one fish that will sell. We could get that that mechanical thing so we can see when the fish. So just really unfortunate that we don't have, you know, a lot of times there'd be a cafe order for, you know, really small, either crucian or gibbles, and there just happens to not be. There's the small roach. We just haven't gotten into roach. Now, caddisfly would catch roach if we want to kind of switch gears. Might have to figure out a good spot for roach. We're getting a nibble on both right now. So time of day. This is one thing you're going to notice if you're new to the game. How big time of day is. There is a fish on our feeder line, I'm almost certain. But feeder rods, the way they're designed to be used is they auto hook the fish in most cases. Where float, we have to set the hook manually by pulling it up at the right time. So we can let that fish swim around on our feeder. Let me just make sure it's not going to break our friction brake. Yeah. So we can let that guy swim around if we're worried about missing the fish on the float. So I'm able to just switch back and forth between these two lines just by hitting. Oh, did you see that? There we go. So we caught the float. It almost got away from us, but I noticed it in time. All right, we are to 1% on float. And I don't know, is this fish still here? I guess I got it stuck below the boat. All right, so I hit spacebar, pull out our trusty net, and we catch the crucian. Now, bottom fishing is now at 0.4. All right. All right, so something to notice. Couple things here. First of all, if you go to the fish market, which is right here, notice that this one crucian is worth over 2.5 silver, and it has this check mark. So we call it a, you know, it's got a marker. These, because they're not big enough to have a marker. If you don't have a cafe order, which there's not one right now, they're worth practically nothing. I mean, it's 0.2 silver. It's a quarter of a silver almost at this point. So it's worth selling them, but without a cafe order, it's basically, you know, almost not worth any money. It's still okay though. I mean, you still sell them and you don't mind catching them that much because every fish you catch is a chance to get a skill percentage. You've noticed that we're now 1% in float fishing. So I hit 0 to open this up. We're 0.4 in bottom and we're 0 in spin fishing because we haven't done that at all. And this is sort of the RPG nature of Russian Fishing 4. So if I knew that we were going to focus on float fishing, we have 1 point because we've leveled up once. I might start putting points in float fishing skills to make us even better at that. Well, I actually know that we're not going to do that. I think we'll probably put points in bottom fishing, if anything. But there's also other skills that early on we might prioritize even over that. So, oh, once again, gotta catch it. Oh, we didn't catch it that time. So the float went under. As soon as we picked up the feeder rod again, the float went under. So we've caught another crucian carp that's not a marker. All right, let's just put it back in and let me just do some looking real quick to see. I'd kind of like, I mean, it's getting a little late in the day for this now, but I kind of wish we could find a reliable roach spot maybe. So 5387 is where we're at. It does look like people have been catching roach here as well. And on some of the insect bait, which means if we put, they will occasionally come in on bread, and if we put worms out there, they'd probably, let's look at our baits. They'd come in on worms. Roach would definitely come in on either one of these caddisfly. I forget about bloodworm. Bloodworm would be a good way to catch small roach. Let's do that. Let's see if we can catch small roach on this setup with 16 hook. Let's go to bloodworm. Let's throw it in here. This could be interesting. I think let's go sell the one. Actually, we'll just sell all the fish. There's no cafe order we're working on. So that's 2.97. And as much as I want that bite indicator, what I want even more than that is as small a hook as we can get for use at here, and especially at winding, which we'll probably go to soon. So really, I wouldn't mind another, at least one more. So I mentioned, all right, let me think about this for a second. Which do we want to put the 20 hook on for now? I think the feeder. I think we probably want it on the feeder. You see how much nibbling we have going on over here? So normally on a feeder rod, by the way, the bite indicator, the little cheap bells that would be on there, they would be ringing as the fish pulls it down to kind of get your attention of like, hey, we've got a fish on. And it's same thing as float in the sense that some of those early ringing noises could just be the fish nibbling. But once it's on there, you would definitely be able to hear the bells go off and know to go check it out. We are just, okay, there's level 3. All right, float fishing up to 1.2. Man, beautiful. So pearl barley, another great roach bait, but also good for bleak. So is bloodworms, really, maggots. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we can do with that. But okay, so let's put this back out here. We're just catching these little crucians like a pro. As soon as we actually catch this nibble, so this is going to be a roach. I mean, you almost guarantee it, right? The way it's nibbling. The nibblers in this are the roach and the crucian and gibbles. A lot of other fish don't nibble like that, thankfully. We're actually going to catch another fish on float before we... Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Oh, it's a perch, and we are 0.8. So this is 2 tasks, because guess what? It's another species. Catch 7 species on bloodworm. I forgot about that. All right, we wanted to use the smaller hook. And actually for now, I am going to keep bloodworm on there. All right, let's see what's happening here. We do need to catch like 1 or 2 more decent fish. Oh, that's, yeah, I was about to say that fish is on there. Hey, this is a nice one. We may have to use our net. Let's see if our net's long enough. If we run forward at the right time, we should be able to get it. Yeah, that's a whole level. So 1.4 crucian. Now, task accomplished. Catch a crucian or gibble weighing at least 1 kilo. So remember when we looked at the New Year's Fair, this was one of, oh, semolina. I love these baits they throw at us early on now. This is awesome. All right, let's put this back in here just for, at least for now, while we think about what we're doing. All right, let's go back to the New Year's challenge. Free to play challenge. There it is. Catch a crucian or gibble at least 1 kilo. Now we need a common roach here at Mosquito weighing at least 700 grams. Let's see. What's our best common roach bait? Actually, it's probably caddisfly. Is this the biggest hook we have? No, 14 is bigger than 16. We're gonna focus, I think, on small hooks early, but we will need to get some big hooks soon too. All right, so that one fish is gonna sell. Let me go double check the cafe orders. Make sure there isn't something rolling off soon that's gonna get a new order. But there's not a giant crucian one anyway. We do have the perch, but unless we go all worms, we're not likely to get that perch order. It's only worth 8 silver too, so 4 silver for this one fish. I'm gonna sell it, most expensive fish, because that does allow us to get a second size 20 hook. And if we're still if we're still playing when it's morning time in this first episode, or whether it's next episode or whatever, if we do go to Winding Rivulet, the other level 1 map, then those size 20 hooks could come in handy. Yeah, there's another nice crucian. So for the silver, one of our best options, look, there's level 5. Okay, what size hook is that? 16. But it's a nicer hook. I mean, it's just a much nicer hook. Siberia CHK. I thought we were going to catch a roach on that, by the way. I also thought we might catch a roach on this. All right, that's 1% on bottom fishing, and that's a second species on bloodworm. So I'm hitting 0 to put the rod down on the ground, by the way, and then pressing the number that it's assigned to pick it up. And that's 2 silver plus the price of this. We probably could get that. We could probably get the thing that announces that we have a fish on instead of me sitting here fishing with an incomplete setup. All right, so we're going to go to rig components, and then we're going to go down to bite alarm, and we're going to buy the very cheapest one, 2.9 silver. As you've seen, not necessarily required, but it does make your life a lot easier just to kind of get your attention, especially by the time we're fishing with 3 rods. If we're ever fishing with 3 feeder rods, especially, just to have some notifications when we might need to check out to see if a fish is on a line or whatever. I've hit F to turn our flashlight on. It doesn't make a huge difference until it's a little darker than this. You can also buy additional lights in the tackle store, though they do cost a decent amount of silver, so you don't want to do it early. It's just totally a luxury item. I'm going to pull this up and go ahead and show you where this bite indicator fits on there. So now if you look at it, there are bells at the top, but it doesn't show it to you unless it's in the water. So let's put it in the water. All right, now there are bells at the top. And you can hear the bells. 1.8 in float fishing. All right, we're kind of using these caddisflies and they're not catching what I want them to. So I'm going to go to bloodworm. What do we have on here? Bloodworm with a 20 hook. I mean, we should probably go back to bread. I guess I'm kind of wanting to catch a... since we have size 20 hook now, I'm sort of wanting to see, like, could we catch a rough or something, you know, which is a different species. But this isn't really the spot for that. Let me see if anybody has posted a rough spot recently and how far away it is. Okay, I gotta pay attention. All right, this is on bloodworm. Chinese sleeper. Love to see it. So yet another... couple of things going on here. We caught a Chinese sleeper that weighed at least 220 grams, so that's a task. We caught another species on float, and we caught another species on bloodworm. So big fish. And we get redworms, which are a great bait for us. Okay, so I don't know. Do we think we're gonna... Let's put 20 bloodworm. Let's just see what happens here. It'd be nice if we could find a rough, just to get another species off the list while it's nighttime. I guess we... Yeah, we'll wait on bream. So you hear the bells, right? It's interesting. I don't see anyone posting about rough, which kind of makes sense because there's not specifically an order for rough. And you can randomly catch a rough if just about anywhere, but sometimes there are really good rough spots, which are nice for those rough cafe orders. All right, there's a perch. All right, so I'm gonna take the clip off, and I'm just gonna cast it straight out as far as we can. So if you look at the map, we're just kind of casting out, and I'm just gonna see if we give it a little bit of time, if we can get a rough here now that it's late at night. It's not late at night, now that it's getting to be evening. And then we'll probably switch back to bread, really, here in this spot we've been fishing at, because you've seen that the like sizable crucians are, you know, worth good. So if we could just like stumble into another decent crucian carp, then that would be worth it. Let's see. All right, so we have no silver. That's not going to be worth very much at all. And we're not guaranteed anything. What was I going to say? Oh, by the way, there is stuff here. We'll eventually look at some of this. I mean, obviously, we don't have any silver to think about these kinds of things yet, but there is some stuff as a new player that you might want to look at in the... I wanted to see what... Okay, this is the type of hook we got. So this is a 5 silver hook. 5 silver hook that we got when we leveled up a couple times ago. We have skill points now, but we haven't put them in yet. I don't know when I'll put them in, to be honest. Depends on like what we end up needing them for first. Technically, we could benefit from them now, but not that dramatically. All right, what is this? We are using bloodworm. Did we catch a rough? I think we did. All right, so here's a rough. The nice thing about this, 3 tasks. All right, 7 species on bloodworms. We got a 4th species. 8 species at night, so it's nighttime, and then 15 total species. So good for us to get that. There's almost always good cafe orders for rough. That was our longest cast. So I may just kind of see how good the bite rate is on that. We'll see what this is before I decide what to... Okay, it's a little roach. 4 tasks. All right, 7 species. 7 species. First one was float. Second one is bloodworm. We're already at 5 on bloodworm. That's great. And then 2 out of 8 at night. And then 15 total. All right, let's see if we put this at 1.5 depth. I'm not sure that it's going to happen, but what I would love to see is to get really fortunate on a rough on float. That would be pretty cool. They do start us off with some lures. So it looks like it, you know, 1.5 meter depth. We're still not at the bottom. Rough tend to be caught at the bottom, which is why I was lowering the depth on this float. We also could put worm on there. I mean, really on either one of these. Rough like worm a lot too. But since we don't have 22 or 24 size hook, which is even smaller, I figured the smaller bait might be the way to go with bloodworm. Surprised we don't have a nibble yet, though. We maybe should just go for crucian gibble right now, on the float especially. Let's see. Let's see what happens. There's definitely like something nibbling on this, but it hasn't taken it yet. So eventually, one of the early things that it is just totally worth doing is buying a shovel so you can start digging for your own bait. Now early on, that's pretty much just going to be like digging for worms, but that's fine. I mean, you catch good fish on worms. So, but eventually you'll be able to craft really good baits. Wow, look at that. We caught another rough. Let's keep this going a little longer here. But still nothing on this. All right, let's go even deeper. Let's go 2 meters. It may just sit there at 2 meters. And let's go to the worm. Let's see what happens here. We'll see if it actually sinks down or if that's too deep. It's trying, it's trying, it's trying. Okay, so it looks like that's too deep. Yeah, it wouldn't take that long to sink. Okay, so let's go to 1.8. 1.8. Oh, that looked close. All right, let's go to 1.7. I think we're close to it. Yeah, there we go. That's right at the bottom. It's gonna lay sideways, but just barely. So maybe 6.5. See, people are catching trophy crucian carp in chat right now, which it is that time where some trophy crucian gibbles could come out. Okay, so that's perfect. We're late. So we have the worm at the bottom, small hook. We at least have a chance here to get a random rough at night. Oh, I'm sorry, on float, which would be nice. As much as I want to go to winding, I think I'm going to save winding for next episode. We'll see. I mean, we're already at what? We're already getting close to an hour. And we haven't done, I mean, we might as well keep working on the roach. I mean, we're starting to get into a groove here. I mean, I don't know. All right, we've got a fish on here. Let's hope, oh, it's not a rough. All right, so chance to see something different here on bloodworm. I'm trying to think what it could be here in the middle of the night. I guess just crucian gibbles, most likely. Yeah, it looks like a gibble to me, but let's see. Oh, it could be a bream, actually. Okay, nice to get a bream caught on bloodworm. Oh, and it looks like we might have a fish on float. All right, there's a new level. We got some line. Hold on, I want to try to catch this fish. Sorry, I'm skipping through all that because I don't want to miss a chance to hopefully get a rough here. It might be a little big. Look at the white bream, though. And we caught it at night. Very cool. All right, let's put this right back out there. Maybe this time we'll get a rough. I don't mind getting that white bream. All right, so we've been catching rough. Let's go to worm on this one as well. Let's save the bloodworms for other things. Now, I don't know why this is laying flat like that. I must not have quite gotten it cast out there far enough. All right, there it is. Just barely good. Okay, let's real quick review what we got here. So we got this line, 3.5 load capacity. That's actually nice. Do we want to put that on something? This goes up to, yeah, we could put that on float. That would give us a little bit more. Or we could put it on feeder. I tend to say feeder. Tend to be with feeder, we tend to get a little more aggressive because we've got the reel, right? We can fight the bigger fish. So on float, we're usually trying to catch small fish for the most part. Except some of these challenges makes us do crazy things. I do almost want to consider saving up for that starter float. What was it, 49 silver? Just need to see if it really is a good deal. Usually the kits do save you just a little bit of money when you consider all of it. All right, we are getting a nibble. I'm going to try not to pick it up till it looks like there's actually a bite because it's so tight right now. I think picking it up will actually disrupt the bite if that's what it is. No, it didn't. Okay, good. Ooh, did that not disrupt it either? Wow. Okay. Surely that disrupted it. No? Oh, it did disrupt it. That's just, okay. Let's get a little more, let's go to 1.6. It's like we're right on the edge there. Maybe 1.55. We need to be able to see the bite without... Okay, there we go. That looks good. I'm curious, are we... I think you need like 5 rough. So once you have 3 feeders, going for these rough orders is actually insane. Now we'd have to get 5 and it's actually about to end, so it's not going to matter anyway. But look how good, 17.9 silver. For 5 easy to catch tiny rough in most cases. I mean, they're just so good to get. Yeah, we're just messing around here. We're not going to get any of them, unfortunately. But normally, cafe orders are the way to go. Unfortunately, we are not hitting cafe orders in this first episode, but that's okay. We'll have better luck in the future on synergy with cafe orders. We're doing well with just leveling, getting experience, and we're doing well with our challenges. We're actually doing quite well for being a brand new account and not having any gear pretty much. We've made progress on several key things here, even finishing the Crucian Gibble one. So feel really good about where we are on challenges. Just not making the silver. That's the one thing we're not doing very well, or not doing as well. I'm tempted, because what we need right now really is the larger roach. I'm tempted to try to sell a couple things to get a little bit bigger hook to put on the feeder rod. I also would love it if we could put ground bait on there. I just don't know that we have enough resources to... I screw up another bite? No, we're good. Okay. I just gotta wait. I gotta be more patient. I am somehow a little impatient tonight on the nibbles. Maybe if I put it down, it'll... Did that mess it up? No, I think we're still good. Oh, there's nothing on the feeder either. Holy cow, talking about impatience. And that could have been another decent rough. Ugh, I hate to see it. So it seems like here at least we did do a little better on the bloodworms in trying to go for those rough. Oh, tell you what. Okay, let's go back to 14 bread. Because we're still in... Oh, wait, I need to see... I think we've been at... let's see if 1 meter works here. or if it's too shallow. No, that's great. And we do have a fish on. Yep. So this might be another rough. If it is another rough, I'm in a little bit of a weird position. Do we put it back out for another rough, or do we... Let's see, one more would be 4. Well, but that cafe order was going away anyway. But I'll leave it out there just while we're shopping. I mean, I'm going to be... Are we getting a nibble yet? Oh yeah, we already are. So let's see what this is. That might be a bite. That is so aggressive. But I'm going to be overly patient this time. That was so... Usually the aggressive pulls like that really are a bite, but there we go. When it goes down under like that, it's for sure. Look how nice this one is. Oh man, so glad I was patient. Can we get to it though? Yes, another over a kilo. That is awesome. Awesome silver. Okay. So let's go. What were we gonna get? Oh yeah, a little bit larger hook to put on the feet on the all right, we want to sell that. We sell all of those for 3 silver. Neither one of those are gonna, so that's 3 more silver, so that gets us a hook. Was there a Chinese sleeper order? I don't think there is, right? No. Okay. So we can sell that Chinese sleeper. Notice Chinese sleeper selling it for okay, 4.7, but it's a decent sleeper, so that kind of makes sense. All right, let's check on our bites, and then I will go probably get a little bit bigger hook. All right, fish on. Is it a rough again? Well, another nice rough. Just for fun, let's throw it out one more time. That went a little right there, didn't it? All right, do we still get nibbles over here? I think we missed the bite over here. All right. So let's make sure that I was correct and that that rough order was coming off very soon. Yeah. Ooh. It's a race. Oh man, I can't watch. We're 1 rough short. Okay, so I wanted to get a bigger hook. Can I justify getting it on this type? Spending that much silver on it? I probably can justify it. I'm going to get a 6 though, and so I'm going to get a 6 on this one, which means I'm going to get this type and save some silver. Oh, it's out of stock. Never mind, I'll get the nice one. I've been convinced. All right, let's go. We've got another fish on. If it is a rough, then we've got to run to the cafe and turn it in. Come on. Oh, that's not a rough. So you notice it's in the red. Then I'll lower my friction brake a little bit to get it out of the red. We don't want it to break. We want to keep it in the yellow or less if possible. And this looks like a roach, and it's a nice one, but not nice enough. 2.4. All right. We'll give it one more shot. Come on, rough. Come on, rough. Oh, it went completely under. I missed it though. All right, so that's a nice roach. Let's double check on cafe orders. Let's make sure. So if you have fish that you end up being able to sell on the cafe order, you usually make like double what you would make if you don't do it at the cafe. is why I keep checking this to make sure I kind of know what's going on. All right, so once again, and this is definitely our last chance on the feeder, because that cafe order's almost out of time for the rough. All right. I don't want to miss it, but let's see what... Oh, shoot. Wrong one. Oh, that was a fish on. This is unbelievable. Calamity of errors, but it's going to work out. Potentially. Get it. Okay. Put that away. Pick this up. Is this a rough? Oh my goodness, we've got to run to the cafe. If it's a rough. Oh, it's not a rough. It is a rough. Oh my goodness. It's a nice rough, 71 grams. I didn't even see how much time was left. Holy cow, 17.9 silver. That was awesome. Okay, so we're gonna put the stronger line here. I'm gonna put a 6 hook, much larger hook. We're gonna go back to worms. I'm gonna put this back at what were we doing earlier? Like, were we doing like an 8 clip on that spot that we've been using? Man, I forgot how far down we had scrolled. All right, right there. 6. Okay. I'm gonna go 7. It should be fine. Okay, so here we go. Now, big hook. And we're hoping... Oops. I gotta get in my mind which is which. All right, and I'm also gonna go... Yeah, 14 with worm here. 1 meter depth. Let's just see if we can find us a roach. Remember, we need a roach that's 700 grams. I think it's going to be possible there, but we'll see what we catch. Okay, so one thing I wanted to check really quick is the float fishing start. So, Comfort Telescopic 5. Let's see how much that costs. 45 silver. So 44.8. So basically, you're getting all of this basically for free. A size 14 hook, a float, the line, and the sinker set. But you don't worry about the sinker set. So, you know, it's pretty good deal. Probably worth doing that as our second feeder set, because it does, it's a little bit stronger than what we're using now. And I do want to start saving up pretty quick for another float rod. I will say one more thing I do want to do. Like, I think it's so cheap to do this that it's worth doing it just soon as you can. And we have 25 silver, so I mean we've got a little bit of silver right now. We can relax a little bit, but to go ahead and get a 30 gram mesh feeder, it's 2.9 silver. And then if you go to ground bait, you want crackers. 1 thing of crackers. I think we'll actually do common roach. So we basically want to make Crucian Gibble mix, which would be millet porridge and sunflower oil. And we want to make roach mix with bloodworm and caramel. I'm actually going to do, I might do one of each. All right, so bloodworm, millet porridge, which is cheap. Now this is a little bit annoying that we have to buy. So sunflower oil is actually not expensive. And then caramel is 1.6. But anyway, so now I'm going to show you how we make ground bait. And we're going to equip it on our feeder rod so we can start helping us target more fish, even be more specific in targeting fish. Okay, so if you hit N, this opens up crafting. One thing we need to start doing is crafting bread. So we have these loaves that they start you off with. So we can craft bread. And that levels up harvesting baits. This is the same thing that digging with the shovel that we'll get eventually does as well. What was I doing? Oh yeah, so N does baits, but also if you scroll down or if you click over here, it also does ground bait. So we're gonna make roach mix and really hope we don't fail. So now we're leveling up ground bait. And we're gonna make Crucian Gibble mix. So according to which one we're targeting, if either, we can put this ground bait in that feeder that we just bought. So this was below the water, but we did not get it in time for the fish, and that's fine. So as soon as we have a fish on the feeder line, which is not yet, we will we'll put that feeder that I just bought and the ground bait in there, and that will hopefully help us target it. Now, you can put this in your hand and toss it into the water. Oh, shoot. To help attract fish as well. Although I really just like using it in the feeders. I don't throw it by hand very often. All right, here we go. Is this a roach? I think it is. We're 3% now on bottom fishing. Okay, so we can, instead of the sinker, we can put the feeder on, and then we add the mix right below it. So now we've got ground bait on our feeder rod, which will hopefully help us catch fish a little more quickly and help us target fish and maybe increase the size of the fish even as we go. So that brings us to two things. Let me try to catch this fish since we've got a nibble. And then I want to talk about the two things that I typically advise you at least consider putting skill points in right from the start. One of them I feel more confident. The other one I think is a little bit more iffy if you actually need to put points in there, but I kind of like doing it. At least 1 or 2 points. All right, there we go. Come on, be a juicy one. Not a juicy one. But hey, it gives us points, 3.2%, and a little bit of money nonetheless. All right, nothing on. Okay, so let's see how much the shovel is. Let's see if I can remember where the shovel is. Shovel is in the hardware store. It costs 38 silver. I think I want to get that other float rod first, but after that, shovel is probably what I will recommend that we prioritize after that. Shovel, second feeder setup. It's debatable either way, but that's what I would say. One of those two things. You just want to start digging as soon as you can. You've got to level up that bait harvesting a long way before you can start making the baits you want to make. Okay, speaking of which, the thing that I'm very confident that for me is worth putting points in is I suggest putting 3 points in making ground bait. Because if you do that, when you make ground bait, it's going to almost always be quality 7, 8, 9, or 10. See how this is quality 2 out of 10, quality 1 out of 10? If I have points in there, the ground bait's going to be more effective. It's just worth it to me. I enjoy feeder fishing very much, so I'm constantly using ground bait, and then later PVA once you get into a more developed fisher character. Man, the Crucians are so active here. And so I think it's totally worth it. Now, the other thing is harvesting baits. I don't put 3 points, but I do like putting a couple points. And what that means is you're going to have success with the shovel, and just get more baits for your effort when you shovel. So I think it's worth it early on. Once you get to be, let's say, level 28, I'm just picking a number, but a high level, 28, 30, everyone has one free reset of your skill points. If you try to reset after the one free one, it's going to cost you gold, which is real money. Right now, we're playing this game, on this account, we're playing this game completely free to play. Like, we're not paying anything to have all this fun. All right, there's a roach. It's not big enough, but it's what we're after. So save that reset until you have been playing long enough where you feel really confident that you've learned enough to make the informed decision on where you want your skill points to be. Because until you get really high level, you're not going to ever feel like you have enough skill points to do all the things. But after putting skill points in ground bait and harvesting baits, 1 or 2 here, 3 here, then I would start putting points in things like fishing with a feeder rod, gives you more distance and accuracy of casting, control of the fish. Then I would start putting points in spinning reel, again, casting distance and accuracy. So those are kind of the next places that I would go. All right, first fish on our new ground bait is a crucian, and we are at 3.2. So you see that ground bait did not work at all. Did not attract a roach for us. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to put, before I forget, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and we're going to do 3 points in ground bait. And even though I don't have the shovel yet, so I don't forget, I'm going to go ahead and put 2 points in shoveling, in harvesting baits. So now we'll get more baits successfully when digging and all that. So for me, worth it. And eventually we will, which, shoot, we should throw this in there. This ground bait is such garbage, we might as well just throw a little bit in there. The quicker we're out of that ground bait, the quicker we can make our next stack that'll be a lot higher quality now that we have those points in there. All right, let's just catch one more fish or something like that, and then we need to wrap up this first episode. We've done really well. We haven't quite gotten the roach we want to see, but you know, we don't have a third rig out yet. That will help us in these challenges once we've saved up for that next rig. And I really think next episode, we're going to just start trying to bottom fish. Float fish for bleak, maybe dace, that kind of stuff at winding a little bit. Because that'll help us make a little bit of money. Did I really not catch that fish? It was like underneath the surface. Wow, okay. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 perch. Just trying to see, like, are we close to anything? Do we want to hang out for any kind of cafe order here? Ooh, the new order was a gibble order, but we haven't been really catching a lot of gibbles. Yeah, we're still 3 perch away. Oh, we're only 1 roach away, so that might be worth it. Roach aren't worth that much unless they're big roach, so getting the cafe order money for just 1 more roach is probably worth it if we can be patient enough to get it, to catch it. It's getting to that time of day, though, where it might slow down so much that I just give up. Wow. What do you think that was? It just absolutely disappeared. No nibble, just gone. And it was a perch. So we got a perch off float. That's nice. That's nice. That contributes. So I do have a bigger hook. That's going to slow us down, right? Slow the bite rate down, but we're trying to get that bigger roach is why I put that size 6 hook on there. What size hook do we have on here? 14. I mean, you can see it is almost an immediate bite in this spot with this size hook. And really any bait we use, it's been the case for bread, for worm. In this spot, the bite rate is just really active. All right, there's another gibble. I don't think, even if we hit this roach order, we're not going to have enough to get that third rig or that second float rod. But we will have done pretty well considering the things that we've purchased. We are definitely heading in the right direction. I think it's a realistic goal in the next episode to not only work on chipping away at some of these challenges, but also to have the goal of getting a starter float setup and a shovel. Which I'm going to go look in the store and make sure I can't talk myself out of that starter float setup. I might be able to talk myself out of it and save us some silver, but let's see. I mean, it's going to be a while before we actually need a real strong... I can't believe that I didn't mess up the bite and we still caught that fish. 4.2. We're getting a nibble. Maybe we'll actually catch something. All right, first of all, let's look at the fare. There are some cool float rods, but I'm assuming they're out of our budget. All right, if we look at telescopic rods, yeah, even the cheapest is 90. Now, it's nice. You know, it's nice, but in the long run, yeah, it'd be worth thinking about saving up for something like that. I think we have a fish on the feeder, maybe? Maybe not quite. It's close, though. You know, I need to make sure. Sometimes it's easy to think about... In some ways, like... I can get caught in thinking about the short term because this is just a leveling guide. Like, I probably won't play this account long term, you know, that kind of thing. We are killing the perch all of a sudden. But I need to think about this as if this is my main account, because if you're a new player and you're following this guide, you're making decisions as if it is your main account. All right, we have plenty of time left on this perch order. Oh, we still need one. It's got to be 199 mass. And we need one roach. We need one gibble, although this is going to be interesting. Is it worth it for these gibbles? I'll show you what I mean once we get there. What am I even rambling on about? Oh, saving up for that nicer float rod for the Christmas fair. We just need to do some comparison prices real quick. It's pretty simple with telescopic rods. I mean, you can get caught up in the length of them. The length does affect how far you can cast it. For example, this one is a 4.8 meter. If I had a 6 meter length, it would cast farther, right? That line would go out farther from the end of the telescopic. But you have to be careful. If you get too long of one, it actually can become harder to flip the fish back in. So you kind of have to find the sweet spot. I really wouldn't want anything longer than a 6, I don't think, except for like very specific tasks. So the main thing that we can pay attention to with nice trophy roach, by the way, Scarapa. The main thing we can pay attention to with telescopic is frankly just what the load capacity is. So this one can hold up to 4 kilos of load before it snaps. So our line has got to be less than 4, right? So that's what you're paying for. I mean, for the most part, in a telescopic rod, you don't, because you don't have the reel or anything else, you're paying for how strong is that telescopic rod. This nibble's going on and on. So we are what? 1 perch, 1 roach? I just want to do some comparative shopping before we wrap this up on the telescopic rods. But I'm also torn because I kind of want to get these last, if we can. All right, there's our roach. It's a decent roach too, 447. I think the fish went away. All right, we're gonna. Oh, now it went under. Never mind. It's still there. Oh, it's a sleeper. Another sleeper. I love it. All right, so here we go. Let's look at the roach. So we have 5 roach. I hit Control Shift. 5.4 silver, right? Or if we do the cafe order, 5 roach, 10.6 silver, right? Now, how much time's left on this order? We don't actually want to fill the order till we are done fishing, because we could get another one that's a non-marker, and then we would sell one of our markers, and that would be even better. So 5 perch, 8.9 silver. Right now, if we sold our 4 perch, it would be, well, not even 4, but it'd be 0.78 silver. Such a difference. So let's try to get 1 more perch, and then we will be done fishing. I think I messed it up. We'll watch it though. All right, is this a perch? No, it's a chub. Another task though. 15 species of fish on mosquito. Still trying to get that last perch, if possible. Now, what's the other way we could try to catch a perch? All right, I'm gonna hold down U. I'm gonna move over our fishing rod here, our spin fishing rod. Put some line on there, 3.1. And how heavy is this? 2.2. Sure. Let's do, I think there's a fish on. There is a fish on. Oh, it's a big one. It's a big crucian. All right, not that big. Is there any chance this is going to work? All right, let's do spin fishing here at Mosquito. Retrieval speed of 16, sure. We'll try 16 first. Cast it right over there. Straight retrieval. We're not going to do, the only thing we might do is hold down shift to speed up, but I'm not even sure that we'll do that. This is technically another way we could catch a perch though. I think we need to go a little faster maybe. It's not coming to the surface. So next time let's do 20 speed. Let's see if that's better. Another decent sized fish on the feeder rod, it looks like. That is a common carp. We are to 10 species now. See if we can't scare up a perch here. Oh my goodness. Hey, we got it. And it's another roach. Okay, that's nice. All right, so I'm gonna switch the bait, switch the lure. Let's try the Dragonfly Bell 02. This should cast a little farther. Spinning is just a little more pleasant experience at winding, but you can occasionally get something here. It's not without hope. There's a perch. All right, let's call it. We got our perch. I'm going to take this line off just in case we need it on something else. Let's see if we get one more fish off a float here. Sometimes you just miss it. You sometimes just miss it. Arguably, I could have, you know, maybe I lifted it just slightly early. I don't know. Okay, so common roach. So if you click weight, it puts them in order from smallest to largest. We need 5. So hit 1 and then hold down shift and hit the 5th one to make sure you get the largest roach you have. You want to not include in this situation. Okay, so we're getting 10.6 silver there. We're up to 27. Now these perch, same thing. We'll hit weight, although it doesn't matter because we only have 5. And there's 8.9 silver. There is 36 silver. And I don't think there's anything else we have, which is totally fine. Let's see how much we get for the rest of our fish by price. Click it one more time. The Chinese sleeper is the most, so we don't have any big, you know, nothing very, very juicy left. All right, that goes up to 48.5 silver. We are really close to being able to get, that starter float set up. I'm just throwing this in because while we're looking at options here, might as well catch one more fish if it gets on there in time. Okay, so one telescopic rod we could consider is the Hazel fishing rod. Now it's only 4 meters long, so it's a little shorter than what we have, but it's a lot stronger, or a good bit stronger, 6.5, and it costs 89 silver. Let's compare that to other things in the shop to see if that's even a good deal on that one in particular. We're going to go to telescopic rods. So 4 meters, 45.5. So twice as expensive, more than twice as expensive. It's more like twice as expensive of this one. And it's 1 kilo stronger. This one is 6.5. I'm sorry, 6.1 instead of 6.5. You can go 4 meter or 6 meter. And it's only 0.4 weaker, and it's a lot cheaper. I don't know if there is something that's exactly comparable. Yeah, because this one goes up to 7.4, and then you're at a lot more expensive. So we have this, we could do for 40, or, you know, do the kit for however much it costs. If we want to save silver, we could get another one just like the one we have. 4 meter, 4 kilo load capacity, and it's only 25 silver. It just seems like a better deal, doesn't it? 5.5 does give us a little bit of flexibility, but again, we'll mostly be, it's a 1.5 kilo. I mean, I don't know. That feels like a reasonable cost increase for that much strength. I was hoping we'd get something worth something. All right. So I guess we'll just have to sleep on it and think about what I'm going to do. Again, you know, you can put your opinion in the chat if you have an opinion. The issue is I very well may have recorded the next episode before this even comes out on YouTube. So I may not be able to see what you're posting. There's a lot of good deals in the fair. I'm not sure that this telescopic rod is necessarily one of the better deals. So we probably will not get that one. And float fishing start is 45 silver. It's definitely between getting this or getting this. I'm trying to think, what all are we going to be catching? Even in this. Dace and bleak are tiny. Okay, so we have to catch a 2.5 kilo fish on mosquito. That may be worth justifying. Not that we couldn't get it, but it's a lot harder. If we have a little bit more flexibility in that bigger one, that's worth it. A bream that's 2 kilos on telescopic. Again, just an easier. A tench 1.5 kilo, that's helpful. Using float. It's close, but I think, how much do we have? 48? I think I'm going to make the decision right now. So if you want to put in chat if you would have made a different decision, that's fine. But I actually think that I've seen enough based on the challenges. Now, if we weren't doing these challenges, frankly, I think it would totally change my decision. If we weren't doing these challenges, so if you're starting a new level account and it's already past the New Year's fair time, then maybe just get another one like your starter one if you want a second float. And actually, this is probably where I do a completely different path. If we're not doing these challenges and it was me, I'd probably get a second feeder before getting another float. In fact, I might get 3 feeders before getting a second float. So very different, the fact that we're doing this. But I'm going to get this float fishing start. Let's go ahead and open it up just for fun. So this is what it comes with. You do have to hit unpack. We cannot return it to the store now. So what I will do is remove this. So now we'll put this. This becomes our strongest float fishing. It comes all together, so it's already put together here with a 14 hook. We'll end up using those 20 size hooks. This way we can actually fish with, and look at this strong line. It comes with 4.8 line. That's really nice. But we can actually fish on 2 floats now at winding for the small fish. We can embrace the chaos a little bit. Okay, there we go. I feel really good about the progress we made in this first episode. And really in the next episode, I think we will start out at winding, and the focus early on will be trying to find, if it's daytime, dace and bleak. Nighttime, it's free to travel back and forth between mosquito and winding. So at nighttime, we will either try to catch rough for cafe orders here at Mosquito just to get some silver, or we might just kind of look around at other things we need later in these challenges, something like that. Okay. Anyway, as always, thank you for watching. Thanks for being here. Hope you're enjoying the start of this yet another leveling guide, and I'll see you soon. Tight lines, everybody. Thanks for joining us.